Hello and welcome to Furious Driving, and this is very confusing. Everything is wrong. Fire and brimstone, rivers of blood, human sacrifice, dogs sleeping with cats, and a Hubnut car is here on my drive. And what is wrong with it? And this is actually a curious little thing. This is the Hubnut Fiat Panda, which is currently with the Hublets, Hub Girl, who's like a superhero or something maybe. They're staying with family in Kent, away from their normal home in Wales, and it started leaking fluids, which is not a good thing. Fluids should always stay inside the car. So Ian said, could we have a look at it and see if we can find someone who can take care of it, because they want to drive home containing all the fluids and not on the giant yellow taxi going back to Wales in a couple of weeks' time. So I looked at it and found that water was coming out of the front of the engine in what is normally a very usual place for these things to happen. And I didn't fancy doing that because lots of broken bolts and things make a bad day. So I rung Chris. Hello, Chris.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Who does mobile mechanic work and is quite good at this kind of thing. And I spoke to an Italian car mechanic friend as well, who confirmed it is this pipe down the front generally is what is the problem. The other problem is also potentially the water pump. However, this car had a timing belt about a year ago, apparently, so it should have had a water pump at the same time. So chances are the end of the metal pipe starts going a bit fusty and pushes away and breaks the seal. The alternative failure is it goes rusty from the inside out and just drops all its water on the floor. But hopefully it's not going to be too hard to do, but I think we do have to take the exhaust manifold off for it first, which is potentially
I'm not
fun.
taking the exhaust manifold off.
We're going to work around that.
Yeah, there's always a way around it.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully it won't be too hard, and this car will be watertight and driving out of here very soon indeed. So this problem actually started after they'd driven all the way from Wales down here to Kent and leaving Ian and his box of tools and friendly local mechanics way behind in another country. But the car has been being used regularly, so she's done a summer job over here in Kent, and it's been using about a litre of coolant a week, not doing particularly very many miles either. So getting it sorted out was becoming a priority, and definitely something that had to be done before she attempted to drive it all the way home to Wales, because if it's going to explode, we don't really know what the problem is, whether it's just a simple O-ring that's starting to perish and letting water come out because the final connection, the main connection if you like, into the water pump is an interference fit with a big chunky O-ring on the end of that metal pipe. More seriously though, it could be that the metal pipe itself has started to corrode from the inside out, and it's starting to pinprick and just let water out through the sides of the pipe itself. So the main goal of today's work is to change that metal pipe that runs along the front at the bottom of the engine block, and and also anything else that needs to be done as well at the same time, including things like the thermostat, any rubber pipes that look perished. Quite often when you do this job, you'd also be doing the water pump as well. However, I'm told this car had a timing belt about a year ago, so it should, you never take this thing for granted, it should have had a water pump at the same time. So fingers crossed it had that, and we don't find ourselves running to the parts shop in a hurry. So they popped over here a couple of days ago. You might have seen it on socials when I had the car on ramps, having a look underneath it, and had a look at where the coolant was coming out from to try and have a look sort of behind the timing belt covers, try and work everything out. I spoke to a couple of friends who are ex-Fiat main dealer trained, well, experts on his car basically, and they pointed me in the direction of that metal pipe and taught me through all the things that it might well be. Unfortunately, they were both very busy with other projects at the moment, so I couldn't help. Now, fortunately, this is a nice small engine in this car. It's a 1.1, I think. Unfortunately, it is also a very small car, so there's still not a lot of access, even though there's not a lot of engine. And being the cooling system, every time you take anything off, it drips on you.
Thanks for that one, Matt. Thank you too.
That's all right. Why do you think I booked you to do this?
No, I know. I might not be clever, but I ain't blooming dull.
Hey, hi there. Max, mate, what's going on here, everybody?
So this is the neighbour everyone says must hate me because of all my junk on the drive.
Hey,
Oh, I say, that's all right.
Welcome to Max Mechanic's Corner. This is Chris. Chris is working hard. Hey, Chris. Hi, Chris. He's on his back. He's having a snooze. I felt like that a lot.
I'm the only honest guy that can earn a decent living laying on his back or on his knees.
Absolutely. The amount of times I laid under there, and the wounds on my forehead.
So this is Dave, who everyone says must hate me because of all the junk in my drive.
Yeah. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's not normally like this. It's normally worse.
So That's that.
That's that out and that off.
Okay, does that heat shield need to come out? I think amazing, it came out, but that one came out of the socket. God,
Must be a top hat.
they must have been out recently, sorry.
Manifold's got to come off.
Manifold's got to come off. I had a feeling it did. We were hoping that maybe there was a workaround with that, but I think because of this bracket just here, that's not an option.
It's not the bracket, it's the
Oh,
white piece.
the white piece on the wide end. Yeah. Bother. Yeah, we didn't want to take the exhaust manifold off because if they break a stud, then it's...
Oh, there's always Craig at Mason exhaust.
We're taking it to Craig and Mason exhaust. Yeah. That, incidentally, is a place that made the exhaust from scratch for my Alpha 145. They are good at exhausts. Right, one less source of anger.
Yeah, should we do a decat on this car?
Yeah,
Yeah.
They'd appreciate that.
See if we can extract another half a horsepower.
I think she's 17 and has only just passed her test, so
see.
I think she'd appreciate a bit more power.
Remember with the 500 that I had for my daughter, we went on holiday. My daughter lives up in Lincolnshire, really cool.
Yes, yeah.
And she met us halfway on the way to Cornwall, down in Cheddar Gorge. Really nice place. Really nice place. Stayed there for the night, and then I had the joy of driving a Fiat 500 with her to Cornwall. Right, get a little bit of tow, 65 miles an hour, fourth gear, let's go. I've got a moped on my jack seat, let's pull back in. I suppose I should do this properly, shouldn't I?
We're not doing it properly. Oh yeah, a little tray thing, yeah. That's getting advanced. Almost got them all out from above. Just one wasn't quite accessible, so
Still not accessible.
it's less inaccessible. And I shouldn't say it till it's all the way off that thread, but it looks like none of them broke. Incredible.
Oh, it'll only break when you put them back in.
Oh, fair enough then, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's all right. But I can't
Righty
imagine.
tighty, righty loosey.
Yeah.
It's a
Oh,
simple thing
we
to
love
get
that
through
one.
the day.
Yeah. There we go. And that is the old Jubba Chupped
Might
one.
even just be
It's possibly just that
crushed.
seal, yeah.
crushed rubber seal.
But hopefully
I can't
that's
see any pinholes in it unless it's gone around the world.
it's
or so.
possible, yeah. But it might just be
Flattened seal.
because it was really coming out from the end of it, so yeah, that looks a lot prouder, doesn't it?
Yes.
The water pump sits just either side of that. That's the timing belt. Underneath this belt, you see me do a timing belt on the Punto. I'll put a link in the cards above. But yeah, if it's not this pipe and that seal, then it would be the water pump itself. However, as I say, because it was changed about a year ago, we don't really want to be changing that and putting a new timing belt on again already. That would be silly. So hopefully we can just slot that little pipe in there and job's a good one. Robert's your father's brother and all that. We've solved the leakage. It's an awkward thing to get through.
But if I did it the right way round to start with, it wouldn't be.
Now obviously because the factory used the one-use clippity clamps, we're not using the one-use clippity clamps, we're putting proper clamps, which some people don't like, but they are more usable and they are adjustable, so you can take it off again if you need to in the future.
Or if you get it wrong.
Well yeah, if you put the wrong pipe on, I shouldn't say it, but that looks like it's gone back with nothing breaking.
It has.
Incredible. Amaze, amaze, amaze. Shiny new pipe, hopefully not leaky.
Right, now I've got to do the thermostat housing. Do that, need to take the battery out.
Now the thermostat housing wasn't leaking, but since we're here and the one looks kind of rusty, it seems like a silly thing not to do it.
Yep.
Since while you're in the ring. Another goofy clip to wingle apart and then replace. But this is the old thermostat, which is probably absolutely fine. But because we're here, let's change that. Put a new thermostat, new gasket on there, so it's not going to be dripping
New
anything.
gasket, don't go that far, mate.
All right.
If it's in the box, it'll have one. If not, it'll have a bit of RTV round it.
RTV.
RTV?
I've got some P38 filler. That'll do the trick. It's close enough.
What's that, the used stuff from the Crown Vic?
Yeah. Expanding foam. So now we can get the comments section really fired up. First supplier didn't supply the part in time, so Chris got two. We've got a BGA and we've got a Borg and Beck. Which one should we fit? That one looks quite nicely cast,
One
doesn't
looks
it?
nicer.
Yeah.
That one looks a little bit
It looks a bit Chinese
right
cheap.
in the liver.
Yeah. So, run to the liver. I'm going to use that.
Yeah, Borg and Beck it
Borg and
is.
Beck it is. Tell us why we're wrong on the comments.
Yeah. Correct answers only.
So, just using a tiny spot of RTV, not to replace the gasket, but to keep it in place. Otherwise, when you put it in there, it slides out of place and doesn't do its job when you want it to. Like when there's coolant in the car, for example.
Yeah.
It's a popular use for coolant, being in the car. Right, genuinely shocked. That's back on. No sheared bolts. If I was touching this, all four of those bolts would sheared off the top and everything would have snapped on the bottom. So this is amazing.
Might even do a lucky dip tonight.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, we can't buy a lottery ticket because... Boink.
Don't have any egg on my face.
That would have been the mystery why won't the car start problem later on.
You've touched my car.
Yeah. Since you did my coolant system, the back brakes don't work. That sounds really smooth. Just whack the heater on so the water circulates, or the coolant I should say, circulates through the heater matrix. And we'll keep on topping this up and we are hopefully good to go and leak free. Let this thing to bubble out and then we know we're done. If you're headed to the dentist today, this is not the same pink drink they use for gargling with after they've done your teeth cleaning. Please be aware of that. Airbox back on. Oh, springy thing should have gone before the airbox.
Really silly clips replaced.
And did you put the same number back on?
I put 4 on.
Oh, that's all right then.
Yeah, I didn't know where the 4
That's a good way of building future business. I've got this weird rattle in the car now.
Oh, I've given a free oil with every service.
Yeah.
You can see it dripping.
Yeah, hot water is starting to bubble or drip out of there. That means
Yeah, that's running out. It's bled through to that part of the system.
that's the highest point. So we are on a sloping drive, but the ramps make the car level, so it is actually level.
Hoses aren't hot yet, so the thermostat hasn't opened.
We'll give it a second longer then. No sign of any drippage down there yet though.
No.
So we'll keep an eye on that and hopefully that will stay dry. So it was coming out from the other side of the oil filter area. It looks like we're dry now. Fingers crossed. Thanks, Chris. Let's give a little fist my bump.
No worries, always good to help out.
No worries, and hopefully the car's all good now, and you're off to go and do a clutch on one of these.
A clutch on one of these, slightly newer, slightly different, still the same old
Yeah, so-
Italian stuff.
Exactly. Well, lovely. Have a lovely day, and we'll see you very soon.
No worries.
See you, Chris. Take care. So this is now sorted. We can send this back to the junior hubs, and they can head off to Wales in confidence that it probably won't break in, well, break in a different way instead, but it should be all good now. Now you might have noticed this thing lurking here in the back of the video while we're talking about the Panda. This is the Rover 75, which the other day I did change the fuel pump on because it was, I think, running the low pressure pump from the non-turbo, and this is a turbo car. So I changed that and it seemed to improve it. However, there was a strong smell of petrol in the car, and that's because I took out the fuel filter side first by mistake, and the seals that go into the tank between the body of the filter and the pump are not really reusable. So I popped down to the lovely folks at DMGRS the other day, Discount MG Road Supplies, and picked up a new fuel filter seal, which is about £6, really worth doing. Pop that in the car and no longer smells of petrol. Amazing. The car runs brilliantly. However, yesterday, I drove the car about 20 miles and it did stutter once or twice, but then the fuel light came on. So I thought, oh, maybe I've got a low fuel issue. So I wanted to put E5 in it, as in V-Power, but the petrol station I went to didn't have any, so I just put 2 gallons of E10 in it, and the fuel light didn't go out. So I thought, since the car's got the fuel light on, I'll go and get a gallon of petrol, picked up another single gallon, put that in the car. So it's now had 3 gallons of petrol since the fuel light came on, and still the fuel light's on, with 3 more gallons in it. So I'm wondering if there's a fuel sender issue as well as a fuel pump issue, which is now solved. It's a never-ending litany of what the hell is wrong with this damn car, but I'm still now feeling I don't trust it, because as I was pulling into the drive with 2 fresh gallons in, conked out and wouldn't restart as I was backing into the drive, which doesn't make me feel like I want to drive it places, which is disappointing because this is such a lovely car when it is working. And as well as the, well, not that much money actually, with 50 or 60 pounds for the new fuel pump the other day, I put 4 brand new Falcon ZX tyres on this thing, which has made the handling, well not handling, but the ride in general, even better than it already was. The money spending never ends on this car, the driving never begins. I actually really like these little Pandas. They're kind of simple and honest. I'm not going to call them unbreakable because this one has just been broken, but they are generally very, very tough and resilient, and they're actually rather fun to drive as well. Full of Italian zeal and zest and pizzazz and that kind of thing. Anyway, they're good. I like them. So there we go, the Panda is now sorted. It is fully functional, working as it should. The cooling system works, the heater works, the fan kicks in, everything is all good, and I can't see any leaks underneath it. Now, having seen how this job is done, I reckon I could have probably done that myself in not much longer than it took Chris to do. However, it's not my car. I don't feel like learning how to do a job I've never done before on someone else's car who isn't a mechanic either and has to trust that car to drive quite a long way. So I think it was quite a sensible move to get the expert involved who can do it all and make sure it's done properly. Meanwhile, we'll send the Hublets off on their travels, on their merry way. Hopefully they'll enjoy the car and have many more years of good fun with this before it heads back to Ian to be driven around Wales some more. I'm sure Ian will probably use it some more after they find cars of their own for the future also. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this, please, as always, hit like and of course subscribe. If you're in need of car repairs, and check out Chris Smith with a K in the Maidstone area. He doesn't go very far, he's so busy he doesn't need to go very far, so if you're quite specifically local to Maidstone. And if you want to see more of this car and its history, head over to Hubnut here on that YouTube thing and you'll see more of this car's little story. Right, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, you know the business. Head over to the link in the description below to the new Furious Driving 4th Wall merch store where you can buy t-shirts like this and the ones with big colourful pictures and fun mugs and all other kinds of stuff. And we'll see you again next time doing something probably with one of these wastes of space. Probably that one.